Hi everyone, I'm the developer of this application. Today we're going to do a demonstration. Then for this demo we're going to pick English. Then let's get started. So let me show you around first. And this is the avatar of yourself. And we'll call her the director for now. So the director is helping us to traverse around the studio. Then if you turn on the navigation, you can look around. There are a couple of places still under development. I could pick Studio 2. Currently we're at Studio 1. So Studio 2 we have different setup. I'll go back to Studio 1. So currently for this set is by default. This is just a preset. If you don't want to use this one, you can go to either this one or the one at the back. So this current set is built for my current project. I have another project for an animation project, so this is gonna be used for that. Hopefully I'll show you soon. So this application is basically for those who is interested in doing live stream, as also known as the virtual YouTuber, or if you're interested in making animation. I hope this application is gonna help. And currently I'm using the full version. If you are interested in using the full function, I appreciate it if you could support my work by purchasing a copy on the booth.com. I'll put the link down in the description. So let me show you how it works. Oh, forgot. I'll show you around. So this is the sky dome. What is this for? Is that once you get inside of this screen, your character is gonna shrink into this side. Let's get it down so you look around to actually see the sky. So this is for in the future. Let's say we have some large assets like buildings and stuff, and we put around so that you have more space to use. For now we just go back. Yeah, once you leave the dome, then you're going to return to your original 1:1 ratio. Okay, in another Studio 5 we have a control room layout, and in the future I'll probably implement some functionality like monitoring different studios, like what's going on, what's on the live stream right now. But currently this is just for cosmetic effects. You look around that. This is probably for the audio thing. Then what's going on the other side of the room is actually a radio studio. If you want to do radio broadcast, you want to invite a guest, then this is probably an ideal room for you to do so. If you look at the back, you can actually hover some of them. So what's going on here, if you click on the on-air light box, it's gonna lock the door. Let's say you have some audience around, they're checking out your studio, but because you're recording now, so they cannot get inside without your permission. So unless you turn it off, then the door is gonna unlock. You can also manually lock it by selecting this, hovering this. You can also write custom message, then it's gonna show up on the LED display. So on the other room, this is like a how do we call that, the song recording. Okay, so for now, let's go back to Studio One. So basically, we're gonna spend most of the time here for now. And for the next topic, we're going to talk about live stream and how it works. So what you see right now, our director is only this character. So when you click on the cast settings, you can actually pick a different avatar. These are preset by our character designers. And we have April John, we have also one of the designer that we collaborate with. And if you are interested in collaborate with us, you are very welcome to hashtag ANS live. So I'll put them in the description as well. And so I want to change myself to April John. Just by changing that will by clicking here. So I'm gonna stick with Shizue for now. Now close this. So if you're happy with the avatar, then we're gonna go to the stage setup and click on the stage setting. So for now, we're going to use this. So except for this one, these are just the demo preset example to show you what's gonna look like. But if you want to do your live stream with this set, you're welcome to. But most of the time, if you want to do more customization, you're gonna use this one or either those at the back. So let me show you a quick setup. So currently we have nothing in this set. So by changing the setup, we can pick either color. You want to do your custom background, you could probably do chroma key. There are lots of effects we could use. And for my set, say I want to do a cabin, then I'm gonna switch it to nature half. So what I mean by nature half is that nature, they're actually the same texture, but if you click nature half, it's actually taking half of the texture and scale it down by 2. So what you see is here, they are the same texture, but it's just tiled just to fit on this set. So for the ceiling, I'm gonna pick material. Gonna pick wood, plank, oak. For the floor, I'm gonna put the classic, which is actually a carpet texture, and activate this interior. So default, we have a Japanese room, we have classroom, we have cabin. If you think this menu is kind of in your way, you can toggle H to switch it off. So now I can turn on the lights. So now I'm happy with the setup. I can close this menu. So what we do next is to add some furniture. So I want to place a table here, a coffee table that could match with this cabin. Rotate it. And add another furniture. Oh, let's say I don't want this armchair, I could remove it and add a new one. So this could fit 3 people, I guess. So after you place it, if you don't like where it's located, you can reposition it by dragging it. So just to be sure that I want this setup and I don't want to redo everything every time I reopen the application, so make sure to save it. So in case the application crashed, or if you have to go out and do something else and close the program, then you can use this function. So next we're gonna place the camera. So what the camera does is that it's just like a studio. So if we go back here, you can actually see that in the background this TV is actually showing what this camera is actually capturing right now. So they're actually functional. So now go back to my setup. So we don't have a TV, so what we're gonna do is to press P or click here. So there's this picture-in-picture mode where it helps you to check the camera. So notice that 000 here is the default camera from this one. That because we cannot move this. This is by default, it's fixed. So this is just for checking your setup and the estimation, like how the camera is gonna show. So for this set, we're gonna switch it to this one. And I'm gonna walk inside, walk on the set, and then check if I'm on the camera. So I could see myself in a preview. So if you're not sure your positioning, you can toggle the full screen. If you're happy with your setup, then press P and toggle the menu back. So what I'm going to show you next is to use your VR. I recommend VR gear is the Oculus Quest 2. So this would be helpful if you're doing live stream or virtual YouTuber, that kind of thing. So now, assuming that we have our Oculus Rift connected, then the next thing I'm going to show you is to do the VR. Let me double check my setup. So if my VR is set up already, we can just go straight to the VR mode. So right now you see on the screen this is where what you're looking at. You're looking at your set. But the only thing is that we don't want to show the audience that what you're looking at right now. This is just you in the set. So what we are going to do next is to use the Oculus Quest controller. So press X. Then your VR menu is gonna show up, and hold the side button. Then this laser guy is gonna point you to where you're looking at. So we are going to turn the spectator mode on, and I'm looking at the camera right now. Yep, I'm actually looking at the camera. So yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. The setup shouldn't be that complicated. So just to make sure you have your Oculus Quest to set up correctly. And I can't even do the pen light, where I'm holding the pen light on my hand. If you are in a concert, some kind of thing, that okay. So that's the audio input. If you turn it on, you can actually see my mouth is moving now. And my lip, the character's lip, is synchronizing with the audio. Checking 1 2 1 2. Hello, hello, hi. All right. So make sure when you quit, before you quit, turn off the spectator mode. Then exit the VR. And now we're back to the studio mode. So notice that the characters are still lip syncing with my audio. So the other way around is to turn this audio back on and off. Oops. Yep. So now the lip sync is off. Then of course, for sure, if you're not happy with this avatar, right? That's why we have another character that will come in useful. So when you pick cast setting, go to pick your cast, you could see a couple of options. So except for the default character. So let me show you what they do. So the next part we are going to talk about is the virtual production. What I mean that as a virtual studio, you can actually function it as your own studio. You're using the cast to help you out. So once you call the cast, they're gonna show up in the dressing room. So by default, they are walking speed. So I want them to run. They're gonna follow your point where you pointed. Your character is gonna move by using your keyboard, the WASD. But for the cast, they're gonna move to where you pointed. So they are actually functioning as a NPC. So they don't have the VR function. They're just there to maybe being the background characters or whatever you find it helpful. But what I want to show you next is the mirror cast. So call him up. He's an Android. So what it does, I'll show you very soon. Then ask him up. Go to the stage. Okay. Just want to make sure that he's looking at the right angle. So press P again. Maybe this time he's gonna stand over here. Okay, so once it's settled, then turn it off, click in again, then for the cast, there's a function where you can point them to next to the share. When they stand close enough, you can actually toggle them to sit down. So now she's using her phone and sitting down on the couch. So again, what this mirror cast does is actually to use your custom VRM, your custom VRoid character. So by doing that, toggle the mirror cast, and it asks you to pick an actor as the role cast. What does that mean is that if you look at the director menu, and then go to role cast. So what it does is he's actually mirroring what you're gonna do from your character base. So let's say if he is gonna copy, he's gonna mirror what April John is doing, then April John is gonna be the role cast. Toggle it on, then toggle mirror cast. So now he's gonna mirror. There's extra windows gonna pop up. Then you can pick your own VRoid model. So let's say I'm picking another one, student. So you can see whatever April John is doing, then she's gonna copy. But she only copies the movement. She doesn't copy where she goes. Oops. Here we go. I have a fatal error. Be right back. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. It was probably the technical issue. Maybe the memories ran out. But for now, let's keep it simple for now. So this time I'm gonna just using myself, the director, as the role cast. I click on role cast. That a window is gonna pop up and you're gonna pick your custom VRoid character. So what happens is that the Android is gonna copy, it's gonna mirror your movement. It doesn't go to where you go, it just copy your movement. So this would be helpful. So let me show you what it does. Now I'm gonna use my VR again. So now by turning on VR, now you are actually looking at the set. But the mirror cast is actually mirroring what are you doing, which means that you don't have to be on the set, but not only you can use your custom VRoid character, it's also mirroring your movement. That means you don't actually have to do everything by yourself. So turn on the spectator mode. So now your custom characters will be on the screen instead. So, yep. Turn off the spectator mode and exit the VR. And there we go. So when you turn off the rollcast, it's gonna roll back to the Android self. Okay, he's done with his work. When you click end shooting, he's gonna go back. It's gonna go back to where he belongs. Yeah, and don't worry about it. So the next thing is that we're going to talk about the assistant. What assistant does is you can invite your friend to help you out for the production. So for that I need to quit the current mode because currently is a single player. We call it single player because this application is still built based on the game engine. So okay, give me a second. Alright, so now back to the menu. Now we have the online mode where I'm going to be a host. It doesn't matter what the studio name is, just put 2, but the guest number does make sense. If you put 2, let's say I'm just gonna invite one of your friends. Then you're gonna put 2. Confirm. So again, I'm back. The only thing is that we don't really have to set up which means before you invite your friend to come over, it's best to set up your studio first. Then the dynamo is gonna be turned off because we won't be able to save game or load game during the multiplayer mode. So let's say you are fine with this setup right now. Then, well, currently it's actually online. So I'll show you what it does on the other player screen. So when you're on the guest side, so the host computer is gonna show up, but this is the case if you are using the local network. And earlier we set up 2 people that include the host and just 1 spot for the client. Now it's loading. So now you are currently in the host studio. So when you join in, you don't actually have permission to do anything. So which is why we need the director to give you a role. So go back to the director. Alright, so back to the director. I'm seeing my friend joins. Click on your friend. Then you're gonna give your friend a role. The translation is still ongoing, so some of them are still in Japanese. But the first one would be the assistant. So click on that. Set transit to assistant succeed. That now your friend's gonna be able to give you some help. So what they could do, so let me go back to my friend's screen. So what basically they do is they could control the camera for you. But right now you see there's nothing happen here. That's because you also need authorization to operate this camera. So what we have to do next, let's go back to the host. So click on the camera. The operator will show your friend's ID here. Then click here. Then automatically your friend's gonna have access to this camera. So now you see it on the television, that TV is showing that I'm actually controlling the camera now. So for the assistants, they also have the preview to see what's going on at different camera. They also have the target camera mode. So assistant could be helpful when you are broadcasting through their screen instead of the director's screen, which means basically what everything the director does is gonna be projecting on the assistant screen. So now turn off the target camera. So let's say if you're doing live streaming, so let me show you other functionality, what it could do. So currently I'm on the preview screen, turn it on, turn off the menu. So on the host, on the director side, I'm going say I'm going to be on set. So notice that there's a latency on the assistant screen because I'm using the same laptop to operate two roles. But in case if you have your friends on another computer, this shouldn't happen because I'm doing two computer shop at the moment. But for now, I just want to show you what I could do. So on the host side, there's a overlay test where I could type anything. So when I press enter, that assistant screen is gonna show the test as well. So let's say I have another camera. Then I will pick that as an active camera. So on the client side, you could also set the next camera to be the same one. The image should also synchronize as well. So now I'm gonna bring a guest to the scene. So I want to show you another function that you see on many of the Japanese television. Alright. So now I have April John look at the camera. Let's see, I may move the camera a little bit. So on the host, on the director screen, what I'm going to do is to use this camera. We call the reaction camera. Oh, please turn off camera settings. So we turn this off. Then we press R to toggle that. You see that little box down there? Currently it says no active camera. It's because we don't have a camera chosen. So we're gonna pick this one as the to be the active camera. Okay. This one is the active camera. You could also bind this camera to a hotkey. So let's say I want 1 to be the default camera, 2nd to be this one. When you press 1 or 2, that little box over there is gonna show what you have from the screen. So now go back to the assistant screen. It's also going to synchronize what you pick from the director. Let's say if you are doing some variety show, a virtual variety show, this could probably be helpful. If you're inviting another virtual YouTuber as a guest. So if you press R or toggle the reaction camera off, then the assistant camera, the assistant screen is going to do the same thing. Okay, so on the assistant side, there are other things they could do. Except for the camera, they could also control the light. Oh. Okay. Just got pushed out. Maybe it's memory issue again. Yep. Sorry about that. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. So sorry about that. So that was probably the graphic memory issue. It happens a lot if we are doing the host and the client on the same computer. So what I recommend is to have 2 computers, so dedicated for the director and assistant function. So what was I gonna show you is that for the assistant, we can not only to control the camera, but we could also do something to the light. So again, like the camera, we have to give the authority for the client to operate. So now when we go back to the assistant, now I have the authority, and now I could change the lights. Right, it happens again. Memory issues. I have quite a lot on, to be honest, at the moment. Right, sorry about that again. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the assistant function. Yeah, because of the graphic memory issues, I couldn't operate for too long. And for this time, I will just show you some other functions we could do on this application. So now we have the emotion default is smiling. If we hold the G, keyboard G, then the character is gonna smile. Can pick some other facial expression as well. Could probably implement that for the Android as well. So, but currently we have only the preset character to be able to interact. Now we have the sound effect. So we pick that, just press F. It's gonna you'll hear those sound effects. We also have the sponsor credit, where you can upload your own logo image. Make sure that's a PNG. What it does is actually this. Press U. I'll close the menu first. and press U.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
So let's say if you have 3 logos, it really depends on the image you put up here. But this just shows you you can show different logos different time. Hide the menu again.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。
So that's what it does. Then we have the frame effect. What it does is that you could do the instant effect on the screen. Say I want some other type of effect. So this could be helpful if you are doing live stream or some other instant. Alright, so I almost forgot to cover this part. The television, where you could actually click on it. Then you see a YouTube MP4. So basically, you find the emblem code from the YouTube, just paste it, press enter. That clip's gonna show on this little television. But not only that, if I want to commentary, let's say if I want to make commentary on that video, you can actually pull this up again. I'll probably use an extra camera instead. And create a camera here. And I'll be sitting here. So this would be my reaction camera. Close that, press R, click on this one. Make sure that zoom in to my face. And I could use another character, for example. Let me ask April-chan to get up on the stage. Like she could be the one doing the commentary. Then go back to the camera. Before that, see if I can put my audio in that. Then go back to the share. And when I talk, her mouth should lip sync with my audio. So now it works. Now I can close the preview. When I turn on the active camera, pick the shortcut key and press A. That's close enough. Maybe a little bit further, 9.8. So when I speak, it's like she's doing commentary, right? Yeah. So now click on the television again. So now I can enlarge the screen. So now I'm having a full screen watching YouTube with that little reaction, that little box over there. So click that on the screen and it's gonna disappear. And bring back the menu. So whenever you close the reaction camera, it's gonna turn it off. Can also switch to another camera by assigning the camera ID in the box. So also could switch channel to maybe second. The second channel is gonna be what is capturing on this camera, the active camera that you assigned on this one. Let's say I want to show what's going on the other studio or another set. You could do so. Because you could also turn it to full screen. It's pretty much the same thing. Click on that. Channel 1 would always be this camera. So another thing I forgot. About customization on the stage. So again, except for this one, the rest of the set you're able to customize by clicking it, turn it on the stage setting. But this time I'm gonna assign my custom image. So to do that, find the texture that you like. So I'm going to go to my asset folder. So let's say I like this image. Like copy the name of the file. So make sure it's a JPG. Click on the navigation bar, paste that, and copy the whole address. Now go back to the app. So I want it to appear at the back. So I'll probably want to close, deactivate the interior, so it doesn't. I could turn up the ceiling. So I'm gonna choose the back wall. Just paste the link and enter, and instantly load the texture you have from your local computer. But what you notice here is that the picture has cut in half. That's because your image is supposed to be half the size of this pixel by pixels. Let's say you have a 2048 by 2048 pixels. It's only taking the lower half of the resolution. So what you need to do, probably just stay the same ratio. You have the constant ratio, but shrink your image down to half, or make it tolerable. Or we could use another set on the Studio 2. So in Studio 2, okay, this one is not there. In Studio 2, we can do the same thing using the local image. So now you see, but for this one, because this is actually a panel, what you could do is that you could actually make the background movable. So let's say if I put 0.1 speed, it's gonna pan to the right with this speed. Could go to the left. So when you use this, you could create a texture which is a seamless texture without the edge. The default one would be like this, for example. It's kind of like mimicking a moving sky. You see April John's name is right there because she's on the other side of the studio. You find it in a way you can turn it off by toggle off the UI. So if you're using this for like a moving background effect, this could be helpful. So that's the same on the floor. With this one, you have 3 walls. I'll use one for the custom image, and for the back I'll use a different effect. So let's say for the left wall I want it to pan to the right, for the right wall pan to the left. Speed, let's go 1 and 1. You probably get the idea what it's doing here. If you're doing like a space traveling, you could probably put different texture background. Okay. So So some other stuff would be like adding your custom props, but currently we only support the 2D asset. So we could do is to drag in a 2D, let's say, let's go back to my assets folder. So I want this tree. To have the background transparent, you need the PNG file without any color. The back. It's like earlier the wallpaper. Copy the link. Then you go back to the app, paste it. Now you see the tree. It's actually huge at the back, but now we have this scroll. You can scale it down to whatever size you want. You can also rotate it. Just to remind you that if you are looking at the camera, basically it doesn't matter what angles you rotate that 2D tree, it's gonna follow, it's gonna snap to the camera angle anyway. So but it's good to notice. So you could decorate your own studio with anything you like. There's also an auto spin. Okay. Yeah, I think I covered pretty much everything here. If you found something else, and yeah, I'll leave the rest for you to discover. So what I'm hoping for in the future is to streamline this for people who want to make animation but with a limited budget, and hopefully someday this could be one of the major tools regarding storytelling, because basically you see it still look kind of 3D. But for anyone who is interested in making animation or doing live stream, and this could be a helpful tool for you. So before I end the video, and I would like to say thanks. I would give credits to some people over here. Particularly for the developer who developed the VRM for you, where I could use Unreal Engine to develop this program. A couple of people, VRoid Studio, and my character designer. Yeah, if you found any, if you have any feedback, welcome to send me a message. I'll leave you the information at the description. And that's pretty much it for the demonstration for today. And thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you again someday soon. Thank you very much. Bye.